Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. I'd like to wish everyone a warm welcome this evening. It's quite warm in here actually. Alhamdulillah. I just wanted to say a few words by way of introduction. Actually, the title of the talk. I'll speak into the mic. I'm told that's important. The Running Man. So how deep knowledge of the Arabic language affects comprehension of a Quranic story. And on the way here, we were talking about a masla, fiqh, and Shaykh Sulayman was able to, it was very poignant because it's language and understanding of language. So I was telling Sidi that actually I'm getting waswasa of something, like neurotic thoughts, demonic whisperings about, I wasn't sure. I had some doubt about an action, and then when we broke the words down into meanings and context, then I understood. And actually, I said, this is clear, and then so we learn from our teachers, al-yaqeen la yazulu bi-shak, that one of the sayings of the fuqaha, that doubt, that certainty is not removed by doubt. So if you know the particulars, if you know and you're certain of a fact, a specific, and you're able to contextualize that, that's very important. The biggest thing we can give to our families, ourselves and our children is language. And I have a background in language, and I think it's very, very important to be able to articulate in the society, articulate ourselves well, to be able to be credible, to be able to stand up for sometimes your rights, sometimes in situations that are problematic, to be able to know and use appropriate language, to be polite, to be gentle, not to be crass in our language. So these are very important things, and we shouldn't belittle them. And we need to learn the English language, because West London vernacular, with the greatest respect, and I'm from Hounslow, I was born and bred in this area, but the innit culture and the ain't culture, innit, we did a study, and innit has many, many derivations. I ain't got any money, I have not. I ain't going, I will not. Right? It has 9. So it's lazy speech. You ain't understanding this, you are not. Right? So it's let's use the right terms with when we're corresponding. Now this is the some people say this is logo of urf, and this is customary norms and so on. So I'm not saying we should speak that's frightfully good to see you, old chap, this kind of Queen's English, but I'm just saying, just be correct. We should be correct, and that for me is as important as Muslims. So I'm not going to go on and on about it, but I think so the thing in linguistics is to talk about the sign and the signifier, what came first, and that was the point about thought. So you have to have good language to be able to think at a high level. So what came first, the thought or language?
Thought.
Yeah, but if you had good language, you could elevate your thought, right? Perhaps if you had more and more terms, if you understood more and more of the Qur'an, if you understood more and more of just language in general, right? That's going to develop your linguistic understanding. So, you know, these are some of the things that and I just want to finish with a quote. There's actually two quotes I picked. This is from George Orwell. So he said, but if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. Language can also corrupt thought, which is very profound if you think about it. And Maulana Rumi, he said, words are a pretext. It is the inner bonds that draw one person to another, not words. So language has limits as well. Right? So, Jazakallah khair.
Thank you very much. Am I close now?
Yeah. Okay. So.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا وشفيعنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبعد أسأل الله عز وجل بأسمائه الحسنى وصفاته العلى أن يجعلنا وإياكم من المستمعين للقول والمتبعين أحسنه إنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه ثم أما بعد فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So with the will of Allah Jalla wa Ala, we are going to discuss a portion of the Qur'an, but before we do that, I would like to refer to something which I find is very important, and it is, how do I seek knowledge? Why do I seek knowledge? It seems that we entered into a fashion where everybody wants to become a student of knowledge, where everyone says, I want to memorize Qur'an, but only 1% will do it. Where so many people have the dream to become scholars, but where so few people become scholars. And one of the reasons why not a lot of people become scholars is because 1, they don't have the patience, 2, they don't have a right intention, 3, they don't have a methodology. So there are reasons why people are not able to become the scholars they would like to become, and to be quite frank, not everybody has to become a scholar. But if you're not a scholar, you are not allowed to talk about religion in public. This is something which was completely, entirely unknown in like 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago in Morocco. When you were on the streets and you would talk about religion, or 100 years ago, they would take you to the governor. They would take you to the council and say, this man is not an imam. He has no right to speak about religion. But if I now were to post on my Facebook, am I allowed to eat a worm that crawls out of my apple? I will have more than 200 replies of people that don't know what they are talking about. They're Googling, there's Wikipedia, there's copy, there's paste, and there is I have no brain. That is what is going on. And the problem is because when we speak about religion, all of a sudden we seem to become pies in the eyes of many people. I'm going to give one advice, inshallah, before we continue. This door is going to open a lot and going to close a lot. Try to stay focused on me, not because I'm important, because the subject is important. And if you look left and right, then at the end I will think that you're not following what I'm saying, okay? Just, I'm looking at you, look at me, not because I'm important, no one, I'm nobody. So now, like before, people, they wouldn't speak or talk about religion if they didn't have any knowledge. If I would come into your house, I'm your guest, and I say, brother, and I lay down on your table, your dining table, and I say, please, I'm in need of an operation. I have something with my heart. You're not going to say, no problem, brother, come here, I'm going to take care of your heart. You're going to call an expert. But if now I come to you and I say, subhanAllah, I'm feeling that something is wrong with my iman. I have a problem with my prayers. I have a problem with tawakkul ala Allah. Then all of a sudden, here I am, Shaykh al-Islam, I'm going to give you everything and to give you advice that I don't follow up my own self. Me, myself, I might not be doing it. So when we speak about religion, we become important in the eyes of people, especially within the Muslim community. I just have to talk about night prayer and everybody will look and say, Tabarakallah, he must be pious, he must be praying at night. I might be talking about things that I don't put into practice myself. Isn't that true? So once I was asked to deliver a talk about Palestine, the people in Palestine, and I refused. Not because I don't think it is important, not because I think that these people don't suffer, but I think that to start with, I need these moments like putting my alarm clock 2 at night, wake up, make dua, Ya Rabbi help them, Ya Rabbi take care of them, Ya Rabbi this. But if I'm not doing this when I'm alone, why should I be expressing it when I'm in public? Let me start with my own self. Because these words in religion are either an argument in your favor or against you. The Prophet ﷺ said, like in Sahih Muslim, Al-Qur'an hujjatun laka aw alayk. The Qur'an is an argument in your favor or against you. When is it against you? When you read it and don't bring it into practice. This is what you are saying when you say, I would like to become a scholar. You are actually saying everything I learn can either drag me to hell or push me to paradise. That is knowledge. Knowledge is not something fancy. Knowledge is not like a romantic story. Knowledge is about studying 12 hours a day at least. If you're not able to do that, then don't lose your time. This seems very hard, but do you think it's easy to become a scholar? Because people make it seem so easy. I'm going to do some talab al-ilm. I'm going to study a little bit. SubhanAllah, and people, they lose their priority. They say, I'm going to study, they study everything apart from the things that they really need. How many Muslims memorize the names of Allah Jalla wa Ala? How many people, of those who say, I want to study language, I want to study usul al-fiqh, I want to study mantiq. How many of these people, and I'm not pointing fingers, memorize even the names of Allah Jalla wa Ala? When I became a Muslim 21 years ago, I embraced Islam, walillahi alhamd. Then I was astonished to see that people didn't memorize the names of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And if they memorized the names, they didn't understand them. And when they understood the names, they might not even be acting in the light of these names. So what are you thinking about? Once like 2 years after I became a Muslim, I went to a Shaykh. I started with memorization of the Qur'an immediately after becoming a Muslim. So in the first year when I was a Muslim, I memorized like 1/3 of the Qur'an. That was really my priority, Qur'an and Arabic. So I went to the Shaykh and I said, I want to study mantiq, I want to do this, I want to do that. He said, let me ask you a question. If you were to turn blind and deaf right now, would it be the marfu' and the majzoom and the mansoob and the majroor or the makhfood that will strengthen your heart, or will it be the rafi' Jalla wa Ala? If now you turn blind, wallahi, it's better for you, may Allah preserve us all. Blind and deaf, you will be alone. But you won't be alone if you know Allah. You will be alone if you know rhetorics. You will be alone if you know grammar. You will be alone if you know sarf. But you won't be alone if you are in connection with the mutasarrif Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is to start with. People sometimes their priorities are somewhere else. Start with what you have to know. How to believe in Allah, how to worship Him, and how to clean my heart and purify my soul. That are the first 3 things that you have to know before getting into business. That are the first 3 things. It's not normal that you can tell me, like for example, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ قُلْ فِعْلُ أَمْرٌ مَبْنِيٌّ. Okay, good. But what are we if I don't know how to pray exactly? Or I don't know how to clean my heart from hasad, for example. So that's the first thing. Second thing, as I said, talabul ilm is in need of knowledge. Is in need of patience. You know, people, because we live in a fast food generation, we want everything like this. And now these days, to be quite frank, you can become a scholar in 1 year. 1 year, 2 years. I'm back from Syria, not now of course. I'm back from Syria. I'm back from from Jordan, whatever. Here I am. I studied with a Shaykh for 1 year. Tabarakallah, look at him. He just came back from an Islamic country. He's Shaykh al-Islam. He's the Mufti. He's Subhanallah. Yani, I just asked one of my Shaykh, how long does it take to learn the Hanafi fiqh? He told me 27 years. And when I asked, this is not, I like the Shafi'i fiqh. He said the Shafi'i fiqh is like 17 years. So anyway, whatever, it's not Hanafi, Shafi'i. All is good, please. So anyway, So you have to ask yourself that question. Am I ready to do it? Because we don't go for half of it. We go for everything. Are you ready to sacrifice your nights? That is talab al-ilm. Do you really think that the ulama, they know everything because they sleep at night? They might not be praying all the time, but they're reading. You know why? Because they don't want to sacrifice the time of their family when they're married. So during the day, they are with their family. They have a job maybe. They play with their children. They go to the garden. But they don't sacrifice the time of their family because it's their choice to become a scholar. So they start like at 9 o'clock at night. They might be studying until 3, 4 o'clock. Then they wake up. They have a life. Are you ready to do that? That's the question. I believe that no one, these are very strong words, but this is the way that I approach it, that you are not fit to become a student of knowledge if you do not memorize the Qur'an and you are not good at Arabic language. If you are not able to start with the text, the basics, you're not able to memorize the basic text of your religion, of your knowledge, then what are you going to do? I know that Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah azza wa jal said that it is sufficient to memorize the verses of fiqh, isn't it? No? So these are between 500 and 550 verses. But all the scholars that said it's sufficient to memorize the verses of fiqh actually all memorized the Qur'an entirely. So we are just using their words. Yeah, but they said, yes, but they didn't do. They memorized everything. So now what I'm going to give you, before we start with وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى, I would like to give you an advice. As I told you, I became a Muslim when I was 18. I'm from a Belgian family. My family was an atheist family. My mother became a Muslim, my father became a Muslim, like 2 weeks before he died. Rahmatullahi alayhi. So I also had, and I'm 41 now, so that 18 to 41, how many years is that? 23, Allahu Akbar. Let's just say 22. The year's not finished yet. So like in 22 years, I had to look for a way to gain knowledge, isn't it? And I assure you, the only right way to knowledge is memorization and understanding. Memorization. Without memorization, there is no knowledge. If you need a paper for everything that you want to say, then you are just it's Google in your hand. That's all what is going on. Knowledge is here and knowledge is here. Imam al-Dhahabi rahimahullah azza wa jal mentioned in Sir Alam Nubala, when they asked Imam Ahmed rahmatullah alayhi, if someone memorizes 100 hadith, when they speak about hadith, they don't just mean the prophetic narrations, they mean actually the words of the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba radiallahu anhu and the Tabi'een. If someone memorized 100 narrations, is he allowed to give religious verdicts? He said no. He didn't hesitate. He said no. They said 200,000. He said no. They said 300,000. He said no. They said 400,000. He went like this. Maybe. They said 500,000. He said, Huwa Rajul. He's the one. He is the one. And 500,000. Now you might be saying that's too much. No, it's not too much. It's religion. Why don't we say the same thing about, for example, a doctor? Why don't we say the same thing about an architect or whatever? But when it's about religion, it's easygoing. Like in religion, it's like, it's nothing. So, to come back, I'm going to give you some keys. After memorizing the Qur'an, and gradually, and after mastering the Arabic language up to a certain level, at least the Alfiyat ibn Malik, for example, you are going to start memorizing, something we don't do anymore. This is our brain. Our phone is our brain. That became our brain. Everything is there. When our phone dies, we die with it. That's our brain, external brain. That's it. The scholars, their brain, they use it. They memorize. Why? Because knowledge is preserved through people. Knowledge is not preserved through machines, computers, whatever. It's through people. Yani subhanallah. So, you are going to memorize. In each branch of knowledge, you're going to memorize a text. This is, like Faisal knows, what our scholars did. They wrote a text in each branch of knowledge. Like for example, if you're going to the Aqidah, you're going to memorize. Memorize. Now if you say, yes, I studied the Aqidah, very good, what do you memorize? If you don't memorize, you're going to forget. Everybody knows that there are five ulul azm min al-rusul, isn't it? Who are they? The five ulul azm. It's Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, who else? Yes, we have another one, isn't it? Nuh alayhi salam. And but now you have to think, if you were in which surah can we find them? If you memorize, you're going to say خمسة منهم أولو العزم الأولى في سورة الأحزاب والشورى تلا. Surah Al-Ahzab and Surah Shura. So you know it's there. So you are going to memorize. And I'm just going to give you an example. Is that good for you? Like in Aqidah, I'm going to read a small portion so that you can see not what I do, what we are supposed to do when we say, I want to gain knowledge. It's memorization. There's one I like a lot. Okay, I'm going to say it. It's for you to find out where you can find it. All right? Okay. It goes, أول واجب على العبيد معرفة الرحمن بالتوحيد إذ هو من كل الأوامر أعظم وهو نوعان أي من يفهم إثبات ذات رب جل وعلا أسمائه الحسنى صفاته العلى وأنه رب الجليل الأكبر الخالق البارئ المصور باري البرايا منشئ الخلائق مبدعهم بلا مثال سابق الأول المبدي بلا ابتداء والآخر الباقي بلا انتهاء الأحد الفرد القادر الأزلي الصمد البر المهيمن العلي علو وقهر وعلو والشان جل عن الأضداد والأعوان, and so forth. And then he speaks about that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks at the end of the night, who wants to ask me and I will grant him. وقد روى الثقات عن خير الملا بأنه عز وجل وعلا في ثلث الليل الأخير ينزل يقول هل من تائب فيقبل هل من مسيء طالب للمغفرة يجد كريما قابلا للمعذرة يمن بالخيرات والفضائل ويستر العيب ويعطي السائل وأنه يجيء يوم الفاصل كما يشاء لقضاء العادل وأنه يرى بلا إنكار في جنة الفردوس بالأبصار. Do you think when I was doing this when I was 19 years old that I was enjoying it? I was. I became tired, but I loved it. But it's tiring, you know. You sit in your room and you're memorizing. Then you have to memorize the Shatibiyah, for example. Now, you have to memorize the Shatibiyah, thousands of, verses that you have to memorize. Yes, if you want to become a scholar or a student of knowledge, you need to know this. Now, if I were to ask you, what is the Hadith al-Sahih? You're going to think, okay, it means authentic. What are its conditions? I don't know. أولها الصحيح وهو ما اتصل إسناده ولم يشذ أو يعل يرويه عدل ضابط عن مثله معتمد في ضبطه ونقله والحسن المعروف طرقا وغادت رجاله لا كالصحيح اشتهرت وكل ما عن رتبة الحسن قصر فهو ضعيف وهو أقسام الكثر, and so forth. So you're going like that. Then in Tajweed, then in Usul al-Fiqh, same thing. I know it's boring, but this is what you're going to do when you want to become a student of knowledge, right? قال الفقير شرف العمريتي ذو العجز والتقصير والتفريط الحمد لله الذي قد أظهر علم الأصول للورى وأشهر على لسان الشافعي وهونا وهو الذي له ابتداء دونا وتابعته الناس حتى صار كتبا صغار الحجم أو كبارا وخير كتبه الصغار ما سمي بالورقات للإمام الحرمي. Boring, isn't it? I'm loving it. Now you say, what is this man doing? What I'm doing is telling you that we have to memorize. We are the ummah of memorization. You memorize, and after, when you memorize the texts, you are going to sit with scholars. You need patience. Like now, talib al-ilm became one of the cheapest things. A talib al-ilm should memorize, according to me, at least 12,000 hadith. 12,000 hadith is a good thing. It's not too much, it's alright. But now, you are talib al-ilm and you don't memorize the Arba'in al-Nawawiyah. Just 42 hadith. Every day one, every day a half. No. You say, I want to learn Qur'an, but you don't want to memorize a poem? No. So, we are in need of that. The same with grammar. You are going to memorize it. Like the Ajrumiyah, you're going to memorize it. It's boring. It's a text, it's not even a poem. You're going, الكلام هو اللفظ المركب المفيد بالوضع وأقسامه ثلاث اسم وفعل وحرف جاء لمعنى فالاسم يعرف بالخفض والتنوين ودخول الألف واللام حروف الخفض ومن وإلى وعن وعلى وفي والباء والكاف واللام وحروف القسم وهي الواو والباء والتاء. And then الفعل يعرف بقد وسين وصرف وتأنيث الساكن والحرف ما لا يصلح معه دليل الاسم ولا دليل الفعل. باب الإعراب هو تغيير أواخر الكلمة لاختلاف العوامل الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا وأقسامه 4 رفع ونصب. It's boring. But people, when they think about knowledge, they think about, yes, I'm a butterfly in a garden flying. No, you're a man or a woman sitting on the ground with a book while everybody's enjoying himself. And revision, all the time, you revise it. They said that Zakaria al-Ansari al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah azza wa jal, every time that he finished teaching al-Ajurumiyya, he would teach it again, and he taught it more than 37 times. So now, we need 2 things if we want to become a student of knowledge. The first one, memorization. The second one, a teacher that explains you what you have memorized. Without that, forget it. Just be a good Muslim. توجه بقلبك إلى الله. Direct yourself with your heart to Allah, but leave it for those who can do it. Is that clear? I'm very harsh with this. When people come to me, I want to study, I want to become a student of knowledge, I say 2 things: Quran, Arabic. If you can't do that, you will never become a student of knowledge. Even if you get thousands of books, for me, you're not a student of knowledge. You're not. Okay, I'm very sorry for it. I hope I hurt nobody's heart. That was not the intention. You will never invite me again. Okay. So, and then you have the Qur'anic recitations, isn't it? Like, what I really don't like is when you have a book now, you see it's a translation of the Qur'an. To start with, translation of the Qur'an doesn't exist. It's a possible interpretation of the many interpretations of the Qur'an. It is not a translation, to start with. Secondly, they always say translation of the Qur'an. This is kadhib. It's a translation or the interpretation of one riwayah, which is Hafs. You never saw people specifying this. Because if you're going through Warsh, there might be other things. Through Ibn Kathir, Qalun, and so forth. Riwayah or qira'at. So you are also going to memorize the qira'at. Now, you know, alhamdulillah, I finished my 14 qira'at. When I'm in a mosque, as I am from Belgium, a European, and I go like, and I would say Allahu Akbar, and I would read, for example, الذي جمع مالا وعدد, or I would say في عمود ممددة. They would be patient, you know, they would be very patient with me and would say, oh, poor guy, you know, he's from Belgium, he doesn't even know how to read Quran. It came this far that if you were to read in another qira'ah, that people would think that your prayer is not accepted. If I would read like this, for example, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, and I would say, Ihdina al-Zirat al-Mustaqim. You say, what? Zir? Doesn't exist. No, it's read with this, with the Ishmam, and it's also read with the Sin, and it's read with the Sad. So there are 3 ways to say it. And if I would say, then khalas, then they kick me out. غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهُمْ وَلَا. They would say, astaghfirullah, stop, Shaykh, stop. So now, we are in a time where knowledge is dying. And we need these courageous, strong people that say, I'm going to sacrifice my time because I want to save knowledge. Wallahi, do you know how great of a hasana you will have by doing that? You know, but who is doing it? Who is willing to do it? The people are becoming, subhanAllah, we really have to look very, very far now. So barakallahu feekum, people hearing this here or there, if you want to become a student of knowledge, then go for it. Look at your potentials, look at your capacities, and then just get started and do it in the right way. Is that clear? Is everybody still there? If you just go like this, I don't believe you. Just say yes or something. Is everybody still there?
Yes.
Okay, that were 5 at least, alhamdulillah. All the rest are here with their body and around the Kaaba with their soul. Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم إنا نسألك يا ربنا أن تجمعنا مع نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يوم القيامة وفي الجنة. آمين. We are going to have a look at the Qur'an. And the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly stated that كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب. A book that we have revealed upon you, O Muhammad, which has barakah, And that's the same thing I started with last time. Barakah means that the meanings within the Quran are limitless. They don't have any limit. Meaning that you can keep on understanding things by reading the Quran over and over again, because it's a never-ending source. This is to start with. And why is that? It's because of it's Allah's word Jalla wa Ala. So we, in brief, are going to look at, can you open it for me please, Shaykh Faisal? وجاء من أقصى المدينة سورة ياسين. Thank you. Give me one second, please. Allah ya Kareem. Allah. Okay. So Allah Ta'ala said that we have to do tadabbur of the Quran. A tadabbur meaning that we have to think and contemplate. One of the biggest challenges today for us Muslims is that we have to look for the akhlaq and the amal within the Quran. We are so often approaching the Quran from a theoretical point of view that we forget that the message is to make us someone else, to clean us from all our mistakes, and to take away all our bad behaviors so that we will find ourselves in front of Allah before we die. This is what the Quran gives us. That if we understand it in the right way, we will have a connection with Allah Jalla wa Ala before we die. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. So the first thing here in Surah Yasin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. I'm going to look at the translation. Can you read it please? You have a nice voice, mashallah. It's there.
Then came a man from the furthest part of the city running. He said, "My people, follow the envoys."
Okay. So here the first thing that I would like to add here is waja'a, came. In reality in Arabic there's a difference between al-maji and al-ityan. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said ja'a. He didn't say ata. And if you're going to look at the difference between ja'a and ata, al-maji huwa al-ityanu bisuhula. Meaning, ja'a means coming without any problems, without any obstacles. Al-ityan, which is not here, could be with obstacles. Okay? Why I'm saying this is going to become clear. So that's the first remark that I would like to give. Waja'a came with ease, without problems. Min aqsa al-Madina, yani from what? Can you read? The first aqsa al-Madina, say please.
The furthest part of the city.
Okay, the furthest part of the city. Okay, I'm going to ask you questions afterwards. That's number 2. Rajulun, what is said here? How is it translated?
A man.
A man. Sometimes in Arabic, like rajulun, it's a tanween, isn't it? Rajulun is a tanween. We all know tanween. Try to interact with me. I like that. I'm from Belgium. We do that in Belgium. Otherwise, I feel that I'm alone, even if you're sitting here. So, you know what a tanween is? Of course you do. But do you know? Yes. Okay. So we have ja'a rajulun. There's a tanween. Well, the tanween in Arabic, subhanAllah, I found out, I always believed it to be 9, but there are actually 10 meanings to a tanween. So the little tanween that you have in the Arabic language has more than 10 meanings. One of the reasons why Allah Jalla wa Ala said a man is because He wanted to emphasize that this is a real man. Now, so a real man came running, and running, I don't like the translation of running, but anyway, a real man came without any obstacles on his way. And also rajulun, the tanween, is because the man didn't want to be known. The name, Allah knows the name of that man, but to show that he came with ikhlas. There was a real man that came for the sake of Allah, running without obstacles, meaning that he had a clear path from Aqsa al-Madina, from the furthest part in town to the center of the town. He planned it because the environment was very hostile at that particular moment. So we understand that we have to plan things. So a real man that planned his way to come to the Medina did it with sincerity. This is why Rajulun. It shows that he was sincere. He didn't want to be known. Because that is the akhlaq of al-awliya, isn't it? Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah azza wa jalla said, how much do I wish that people would have learned from me without knowing that it came from me. You know, this is the biggest iktila, is to be known. So وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. يَسْعَى, yani here says running, let us say running. So what do we understand from this first part here? So the first one is, why did this man come running? Because there was khair. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-ajalatu min ash-shaytan, doing things with speed, yani very quickly, is from shaitan, apart from the sa'i ila al-khair, apart from going quickly to something which is good for you. And this is why this man, what we understand, if there is something good to do, don't hesitate. Do it. You feel like, oh, I want to give £5. Do it immediately. Because the time that you think and contemplate is the time that shaitan will use against you. There's a very good book of, I think, Carol Honore, In the Praise of Slow. You know that book? It's a very good one. So anyway, so that man came, he came from the furthest part of town. Because from the moment that there is evil going on, and nobody changes it, it's obligatory upon you to change it. And one of these things that is obligatory today is that people study once again. That you learn your knowledge, that you learn, that you study. So جاء من أقصى المدينة رجل. The second thing is, if you do it for Allah. A man. It's not important that the people didn't know him, Allah knew him, and Allah knows him, that's sufficient. You know what the biggest heartache is? Is when you expect something from people. Like today people will thank you for what you do and tomorrow they gossip about you. They break your heart. Wallahi, if you expect from people to thank you, they will break your heart. It is like, planting a seed, a hasana. You're planting your hasanat in people and Allah makes it grow and you find it on the Day of Judgment. So you don't want anything from people. Really. So now, and the biggest problem is between husband and wife. When a wife says to her husband, for example, you never buy me what I want. Or the husband says, you never cook what I like. These are two, I'm caricaturizing because a man cooks as well. I cooked last time and I burnt it. Yes. That's why we always say to men, if you really don't like to cook, make one meal and you will never have to cook again. But that's not true. Anyway, so to come back. So now, husband and wife, it's very easy to lose our masks, isn't it? Like when we're sitting with people, we're all shiny, happy people. Tfaddal, brother, go first. Like for example, if I were to throw over this coffee on the floor, people would say, no, Sheikh, it's all right. Or if someone's child would do it in front of people, said, Habibi, come here, no problem. But he will feel it, the way you take me in your arms, Habibi. So you will feel it. And so when people are at your house, the same thing. Like if you would throw it out over, when people are not there, you say, astaghfirullah, you this, you that. But now people are there. Oh, I have my mask. I change it all the time. So and then I take him to the room. I say, Habibi, come here. And then. So now, it's very easy to lose your mask with the people that live with you. And this is why the Messenger of Allah, ﷺ, he gave us this ruling where he said, the best one amongst you men is the one that is the best one for his wife. Why? Because it's very easy to manipulate, to use your strength. I'm not talking about physical strength. It's to misuse your powers that you think you have. Hero. So now, subhanAllah, sincerity, if you want to know if you are really sincere, look at the way that you behave with your husband or the way that you behave with your wife. So, you never take me when I ask you. Oh, now, all of a sudden the man has a list in his head. He says, yes, I took you that day, remember? And I did this for you. I took you to the park and this. And so all of a sudden, actually what he's doing, he's erasing his hasanat. He's saying, this hasanah I don't want Yawm al-Qiyamah. This one I don't like. Just swipe it because I'm used to swipe all the time. So swipe away my hasanat. Erase them from history. So this is problematic. So that is where you are really going to earn your hasanat and your sincerity. Bismillah. So now, Allah ya Kareem. SubhanAllah. It's so difficult to do things for Allah, really. It's easy to say, it's difficult to do. I promise you. You go to the shop as a husband Alhamdulillah, my wife doesn't do these kind of things, so that nobody thinks I'm talking about. I'm talking in general. So you come home as a husband, and you just told your wife, you know, Habibati, darling, butterfly, whatever, my heart, my life, my soul. You say, if men say this, then it's beautiful. The Prophet ﷺ used to call his wife with very beautiful names. So now you say, you can stay home today with your friends. I'm going to the shop and I do everything. You sit down. Then I'm going to a halal restaurant. I'm going to get you dinner, and don't think about anything. Okay, so you go with the shopping list. You're sure you didn't forget anything. You come home. The first thing that your wife will see is that what you didn't bring home. Yes, where's the cheese? Darling, now the man loses his hasanat. SubhanAllah, cheese is alright, I brought everything. Every time when you say that you're going to get something, you forget it. And now he wants to defend himself. And he's going to say, yes, but didn't I spoiled you today. I told you to stay home and that I would take care of you. And you were at home enjoying your time, and I was outside in the rain, like he's in the Amazon forest. I was walking through the rain or under the naked sun, whatever. So he was, all of a sudden Hasana goes, and then at the end they have a dispute because of cheese. So if now he were to say, you are right, even that she will not accept. She will think that this is a form of sarcasm. Like, you are right, I always forget something. You just say this because you want to. So it's very difficult. So at that moment you say, Habibati, I'm just going to get the cheese. You go, you get the cheese, you have a very nice evening. And otherwise you will sleep like that, she will sleep like that because of cheese. What happened the next day? Cheese, you know? And then try to explain it to your children. Mama, Daddy, why don't you talk to one another? Because of cheese. So anyway, the same thing with the husband, Ya Allah. He comes home, his wife made his perfect dinner. The dinner he really loves. She knows he likes biryani, for example, or lasagna or whatever. But actually the husband comes home and he was actually wanting French fries, for example, whatever. She says, I made lasagna for you. And you go like, okay. Oh, subhanAllah, I really wanted to eat some fries today. SubhanAllah, you're killing her heart. So now what is the wife going to do? She cleaned, for example, all the rooms apart from one. You are going to see the room that wasn't clean. You promised you were going to do it. I did it last week. Boom, once again. Sleep like this. Children, what happened? Yeah, khalas. So this is sincerity within. If you really want to train your sincerity, do it with your wife or your husband. If you can keep up that good character within these walls, wallahi, you are pious. Everybody can play a game for 3 years. 3 years. For 3 hours. Yes, brother, no, brother. I will pay, brother. But when your wife says, can we go to a restaurant? No. It's too expensive. But with my brothers, I pay everything. This is wrong. So, جاء من أقصى المدينة رجل. He doesn't want to be known. Allah knows it, that's sufficient. Yes'a, running. But he came to people that were disbelievers. They didn't believe. قال يا قومي. He said, oh my people. Look at that today. Today when you see the way that Muslims talk about non-Muslims, it's like they are carrying a real virus. That they are evil just because of their personality. That they are infected with something bad. And say, they are the kuffar and we are the Muslims, and here I draw a line. That wasn't the character of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It never was. So he came with rahmah. Like I said in my khutbah today, I said, subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, I became a Muslim. But how many people did you invite towards the gardens of Eden? Every Muslim is the gatekeeper or a key keeper, call it whatever you like. Every Muslim has a key to an eternal bliss. How many people, each Muslim has this, how many people die without La ilaha illallah that knew you, but that weren't invited by you? So you will have to explain it with Allah Jalla wa Ala. Because one of the reasons that you are a Muslim is to save other people from what? From hell in akhirah. You have that key. What did you do with it? The problem is that we often shy away. You know why? Because we hear so many negative things about ourselves and about Islam that at the end we shy away. While that what we have, subhanAllah, we know Allah. We know the most beautiful thing. Like if a guy, I'm sorry, I'm not an English native speaker, so sometimes I might just choose a word from a movie or something. A guy, I don't know, we say that? We do, okay. A young man, yes, a young man. So a young man, when he buys his new car, like convertible, Golf or BMW, he just bought it with his friend. Believe me, during the summer, they turn on the music like very loudly, roof is gone, because they want everybody to look at their piece of iron. The car is a piece of iron. And they want to show it, they want everybody to know it. But did we do the same with our knowledge of Allah Jalla wa Ala? Are people more proud of their connection to a BMW than their connection to Allah? You have that key. And I like BMW, this is not against BMW. Okay. So anyway, BMW, Maserati, Bugatti, whatever. So, did we do this? I don't understand this. It's like we have a button, like a light button that on and off. Like now I speak about Allah, now I say inshallah, now I say Bismillah, now I say yes if Allah wants, and now with these people I don't. No inshallah, no alhamdulillah, no nothing. Because they might think that I'm weird. What does Allah think? وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ أَمَانٌ يَسْعَى يعني hurry. Hurrying? We say it like that? Yeah, he was hurrying. He was going fast because he wanted al-khair. And that's the same. This is why the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, the best deed is that you perform your prayer when the time of prayer, what? Comes in. الصلاة في أول وقتها. So now, he said, "O my people, قال يا قومي اتبعوا المرسلين." O my people that do not believe, follow the messengers. Because we too often, we want followers on Facebook. We want followers on YouTube because of me. If you have a message, then you want followers because of the message. And if you don't have a message, why do you want followers? We all became movie stars. Look at me, here I am in Paris. Look at me, I'm eating mandarins. Oh, that's special. Here I am swimming. Here I am in I don't know what people do. I just ate this. Very nice. A lot of people might be wanting this and you're not sharing it. So we are creating this fake, attraction. These people that like you don't like you. But just they push a button. And when you die, 1% of those who like you will show up. So now, subhanAllah, one of the worst things, barakallahu fikum, is showing off with your worship. This is terrible. I don't understand even how this came into existence. That people show this, here I am doing Hajj. This is a worship. Do it for Allah. Here I am reading Qur'an. And then the Muslimah who wants to be shy turns away her face. You just see a quarter of her face reading Qur'an, and she gives up most probably a name like the Muslimah, Allah's worshipper. Here I am crying. Here I am sitting with my tasbih. Well, what's going on? So, if you don't have a message, then know that Allah Jalla wa Ala, like the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, like in Mu'jam of Imam Tabarani rahimahullah, he said, "Inna Allah yuhibbu al-abd at-taqi al-ghani al-khafi." Allah loves a servant that is taqi, that fears Allah, ghani, self-sufficient, yani meaning he's not in need of people, only of Allah, and khafi, that he's not known amongst people. Why? Because he doesn't have a message. A doctor has to be known to his patients. A public speaker has to be known to the people he speaks to. But it's all about the message, it's not about the person. Is the difference clear? So this is what this man was doing. He was saying, Ya qawmi. So I ask you, save, bi'ithnillah, one person please from hellfire before you die. One. Do you know how big that hasana will be? If you save somebody from hell. This should be, subhanAllah, one of our goals in life. لأن يهدي الله بك رجلا واحدا خير لك من حمر النعم. The Messenger of Allah said that you guide one single person is better for you than the most expensive camel. Let us say like a Rolls-Royce Phantom, for example. 350,000. Or we have even more expensive cars. So the most expensive car, like if you would have it, guiding one person would be better for you than having that car. Okay? So now, Ya Qawmi. So they're still your people, the people that you live with. Yes, you have another faith, another belief, but they're your people, meaning that you want for them what you want for yourself. Ittabi'ul mursaleen, don't follow me. Follow whom? The prophets. Ittabi'ul mursaleen. Ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajra. Follow those who do not ask from you any wage. So now the question arises, is someone allowed to ask money for teaching of religion? Yes or no? What do you think?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, this is for free. Would it be allowed from a fiqh point of view, all of a sudden, like it's a free event, and I would say, no, it's 20 pounds. All of a sudden here. Would that be allowed from a fiqh point of view? Of course not. But would somebody be allowed to say, okay, I teach you, but in return for money? That's a question I'm asking you. Halal or haram? Because sometimes people say, no, you're talking about religion. So how can you charge people for teaching religion? So how are we going to look at that?
Hello?
Who says haram? I heard haram. Who said haram?
You said halal.
Halal, okay. Okay, subhanAllah. Who says haram? Okay, then we don't have an issue. So we continue. So اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. Look, he said وهم مهتدون. Follow those who are guided. If you take a sheikh, then look at the way he behaves. Look at the way he talks. Look at the way he walks. If he's into haram, don't follow him, because he will corrupt your heart. He will corrupt your heart. And I think also that it's very important for the mashaykh, and I'm not talking about the big mashaykh, just the tulab al-ilm that teach, they have to be down to earth. The talib al-ilm shouldn't expect from people to carry his bag, to carry his shoes. Or, we are all submitted to hukmullah, to the ruling of Allah. We are all brothers. Like, for example, I come in a place because I'm a teacher, people say, go first. Why should I go first? What's the difference between me and you? Nothing. Just I talk. That's it. And the moment I stop talking, I'm no longer a teacher. I'm just a Muslim amongst the Muslimin. And this is where the tulab al-ilm, we shouldn't expect this from people. If you carry the bag of a talib al-ilm, he carries your bag. When the people would come in the mosque of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, he wouldn't have a special place. كان يجلس حيث ما ينتهي به المجلس. He would sit there where there was space. He wouldn't allow people to stand up and make room for him. Of course, if it's from a tarbiyah point of view, it's different. I'm talking in general. They would enter the mosque and say, Man minkum Muhammad? Who amongst you is Muhammad here? That's the way that people, they wouldn't recognize him. But when they would look at his behavior and at his taqwa, they started doing it without him asking it. It's a result. It's not something that is wanted. Is that clear? So this is what you have to look for. When you have a teacher, you will also learn from his character. One of my teachers in qira'at was Shaykh Tawfiq Hafidahullah. And once I asked him, Shaykh, I want to invite you to Belgium. Come to Belgium and teach. He said, yes, but I have conditions. A lot of scholars would say, yes, I want a five-star hotel. I want this or that, speakers. So I thought, okay, khalas, maybe it's about money. He said, first condition, I don't want to be paid. And if someone transfers money on my account from Belgium, wallahi, I will never come again. If I find money or gifts in my suitcase, in my clothes, in my pocket, wherever, wallahi, I won't come again. 2, I will not stay in a hotel. I will stay in someone's house who is not married, because I don't want to bother a married couple. 3, I won't stay longer than 10 days, because then my wife becomes jealous and my mother becomes worried. We said, okay, Shaykh. That were his conditions. He was a Shaykh in qira'at. He still is. He wrote so many books. He always used to sit just like this and like that in the mosque. Like this. And people would come in, and people are so judgmental. They would say, like, okay, what does he look like? He can't possibly have knowledge. The way he sits, no. It's not about the way you look, it's about the way you talk and about what you know, isn't it? Of course, there is al-urf. This is clear. So, اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. So then he gives all of these reasons why should I not follow them and so forth. But then at the end, the man is killed. They stab him in his belly, and then his intestines fall out, like the Kutub Tafsir say. And while this happens, look at what he's saying. What do you think he says? Who do they think they are? These people, I came all the way to warn them with ikhlas, giving them advice. I was sincere, and now I'm killed? That's the way that we talk to Allah. Ya Rabbi, I did everything good. Why do you do this to me? Ya Allah. This is so dangerous. Like, Ya Rabbi, I was always helping people, and now you don't help me? Allah. This is dangerous. We forgot whom we are talking to. So he didn't say anything of this kind of in subhanallah. While he was dying, he said, قال قيل ادخل الجنة. They said, enter paradise. That's the angels. When you die, you see your place in paradise or in hell before you die. Everybody will see it before he dies, but you won't be able to speak. Because otherwise everybody would believe. If everyone who dies would say, I see an angel, I see paradise, then this would be what? Then this would be ilm. But no. They said enter paradise, and while he was dying and was in pain, قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون. He said, if only my people would know. So how the non-Muslims that killed that Muslim, and he said, my people, once again, he started with my people and he finished with my people, because he was a reflection of that what a Muslim has to be. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. You were sent to Muhammad as a rahmah to the entire world, to the universe. And our rahmah is bigger, far bigger than our hatred. And that's a divine attribute. Allah's rahmah and forgiveness is greater than his anger. So that shows that he was sincere. The good that he did was not just people criticizing him, people killing him, and that didn't change his intention. That didn't change his feeling, because he was true. And when you are true, you start with the right intention and you finish with the right intention, and you don't change your goals. He wanted rahmah for his people, so that is why he died and why he lived for. So قال يا ليت, oh, if only قومي, my people, يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. If they would only know, my people, how my Lord has forgiven me. Why did he say this? At that moment when he was in pain, like I am in pain, physical pain, but they are in spiritual pain, because wallahi, the more you know Allah, the happier you get, and the further you are away from Allah, the more worried you get, the more narrow your inner chest becomes. You feel worried, you're in panic, you don't feel happy without Allah. So now he said, if they only would have known that Allah forgave me, subhanallah, it's like he's saying, I forgive them. Now, so why don't they repent? وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُكْرَمِينَ. And he has honored me. And subhanallah, he has honored me. Like, even if the people dishonored you in this life, while you were upon the straight path, then that's sufficient for you. That's a real izzah. This is the real honor. Like, the better you will become, and that's the last piece of advice I want to give you. The closer you get to Allah, the more people you might have that go against you. People that gossip about you. People that slander. Maybe your own family that doesn't love you as much anymore. Whatever. Because when you come near to Allah and your soul becomes pure, He doesn't want your soul to be divided. He wants it entirely purely for Him. And if He sees that there is an obstacle between Him and you, your heart and Him, then He will take that obstacle away. So that this will not distract you from loving Him and worshipping Him. So this is why we love people for Allah. We love our wife for Allah, our husband for Allah, our job for Allah. We love Allah Jalla wa Ala through it, so that we will never lose it. We will not lose it because it is not something we love together with Allah. Your heart was created for Him. You don't love something together with Allah. You love something for Allah, for the sake of Allah. Jalla wa ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was what this man said. So in brief, what we understand from this is, like, there's so many evil things happening on the world. Don't sit down scrolling. SubhanAllah, we became a scrolling ummah. Kuntum khayra ummah, right? You were the best of ummah. We became a scrolling ummah. Look at what happens in Burma. Look what happens in Palestine. Look. Yes, in my lazy chair, I am looking. I'm not even weeping. I'm sharing, like throwing on my frustrations on the internet, and nothing changes. What are you sharing? I want people to be aware. They know. But that's the mentality of today. We don't need scrollers. We need people that walk the walk and talk the talk. That is what we want. So please don't drown. Don't drown yourself in social media. Unless it is for a clear goal. Like for example, I like a sheikh. I go to his Facebook or to his YouTube channel. I listen and I'm gone. I'm not going left or right. I even don't have any friends. I mean, I don't have friends. Allah Akbar.
Where are your friends?
I know. I mean, I have friends, but I don't have. Anyway, so it's difficult, right? So anyway, so what we understood was, be sincere in what you do. From today on, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, to promise yourself, never mention a hasana you did ever again. If we were to bury our hasanat in the same way that we bury our sayyi'at, we would have been awliya. We show good that we don't have and hide bad that we have. That's problematic. The wali shows less than he has from good. His best moments is when he's alone with Allah. So now, sincere is one. So promise one is, and it's going to be hard, never mention your hasana again. Because wallahi, one hasana, one single one, can save you from hell. What if you have 49 out of 100? SubhanAllah, if I only, Allah. So that is one. Two, change the world by being good yourself. Two, start by studying and learning what is obligatory upon you. Knowing Allah and His Prophet ﷺ, your behavior and your fiqh. Then if you want to become a student of knowledge, Arabic, Qur'an, memorization, and a shaykh that explains you the text. Okay? Then, it's not important to be known by people, it's important to be known by Allah Jalla wa Ala. Another one, in your behavior. We live here in a country, they're all one qawm. If it goes bad with the non-Muslim, it goes bad with the Muslim and vice versa. We have keys in our hands, we're going to give them to the people. We want eternal bliss for everybody. Okay? Another thing is, choose a sheikh who has a good behavior. And subhanAllah, and if it's a talib al-ilm, who is down to earth. Who doesn't expect anything from you. Then to be his brother. And another one, barakallahu fikum, is if you started something with an intention, finish it and don't change your goal. People lose time because they change goals. And you can only say that you weren't able to reach your goal when you died while trying to get to your goal. That is how long a goal can take. Okay? And this is in brief what I wanted to say. And that's it. Jazakumullah khairan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His beautiful names and perfect attributes to make today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to take our souls until He's completely pleased with us, entirely pleased with us. We ask Allah tabarak wa ta'ala to show us all our shortcomings and mistakes so that we can get rid of them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stronger than our love for our own selves. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring into practice that what we have heard. We ask Allah to forgive all our sins, the one that we have shown and the one that we have hidden. We ask Allah tabarak wa ta'ala to reward our mashaykh, even those who only taught us one single sentence. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to give us a right comprehension of the Qur'an and to make us of those who act upon the Qur'an. Ya Rabbi, make knowledge and argument in our favor, not against us on the day of judgment. Ya Rabbi, make our stay in this life like a sawm and our meeting with you like a Eid. Ya Rabbi, I ask you, Ya Allah, to all of us who are sitting here to gather us in the shadow of your Arsh Yawm al-Qiyamah. I ask you, Ya Rabbi, to not let the sun rise until you have solved all our problems. And to, Ya Rabbi, all the people that are in need, Ya Rabbi, help them. We ask, Ya Rabbi, the children in Syria and the children in Palestine, and all these children that are being afflicted by these enormous tests, Ya Rabbi, draw a smile on their faces. Ya Rabbi, protect them against traumas. Ya Rabbi, protect the honor of each woman, Ya Rabbil Alameen, on the face of the earth. Ya Rabbi, we ask you, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to make our prayer more beloved to us than anything we do on earth. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh-dhalimin. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.